Hello, my name is Zun. I go by they, them pronouns. This is a venting post, I would say, or some sort of thought ether space. um, so I've been called to start this channel, and I'm someone who is very comfortable speaking, and I thought I was someone comfortable sharing myself. I've done a lot of shadow work, understatement, a lot of formal exposure work, and I used to run a podcast, and would like to start up a podcast again. And that said, I've been called to do things differently. And for part of it, I'm very clear on how that is to present itself. I am a channeler. I utilize tarot and oracle cards and a lot of modalities tools to tap into that and to channel messages and offer what I have to offer. Another part of this channel is so I'm being called to do the channeling primarily during the week of the full moon. I'm going by moon cycles. During from crescent to crescent, time of the new moon, those first 2 weeks of the moon month, I am not to be seen on this channel, just as the moon appears to be not visible to us on Earth. And then for first quarter and new moon cycles, weeks of the cycle, I'm being called to post. And that's going to, from where I can see right now, that looks like once each of those weeks. So just two posts a month is what we're looking at probably. And so for the full moon, I'm feeling confident for that week. For the first quarter week, I'm being called to share my most authentic self. It can include channeling, but I'm being called towards just my earth self as a starborn being, as a starseed on Earth, just to share myself doing things I enjoy in states of joy and happiness, to share me in states of excitement, whether that's me doing something that feels uncomfortable in the sense of discomfort versus danger, just things that make me feel alive in one way or another. My natural vibration in itself is healing and has a joyful effect, an illuminating effect, I would say. And that's my purpose, is to share myself in joy, in aliveness. And I found that there's a conflict that has been holding me back, where I don't feel most comfortable and natural recording myself. And not because I don't think I have important things to share or that I'm not articulate in how I speak, that whatever, right? It doesn't feel natural to me because it's unnatural. And when I do the things that I enjoy, it's in a natural state of flow, and so I don't think, let me turn on the camera. I don't think about, let me prop the iPad up so I can do this, or set up the microphone so I have audio quality. Like all of that provides barriers to me just flowing into what I do. And so that has held me back, because this has been something I've been progressively being called to do and to share for a while now. And initially it was a matter of, it just wasn't time yet. I had things to reflect on. I very much needed to be in hermit mode and align with the seasons, where winter, water element, really just intuitive emotion states, just really getting centered in that. And that said, it is now approaching the spring season, and the call is getting loud to where I can't ignore it anymore. Not without living in a state of regret, or with feelings of regret. And so I'm just calling out these barriers, these obstacles, because I've been running them around in my own mind for so long, and in journal entries. But sometimes what it takes is verbalizing it for there to be an openness to it, even if there isn't necessarily like a spoken solution. Just putting it, just moving that energy out physically via speaking is enough to shake up that energy blockage, to just allow willingness to be. And so I'm not going, in order for me to do this sustainably, and that's the only way I do anything now, is what is sustainable, what is enjoyable for me, what will serve the highest and best of my soul tribe and the collective, is I'm not going to hold myself to the unnatural standard of technological quality. I'm not going to hold myself in a state of obligation of any kind, period, and especially pertaining to scheduling, because my calls to act or not act, my intuitive guidance comes when it flows. It is, time is an illusion. Time is not linear. Time is not. And so any channelings I do, anything I share, is timeless. It is part of my legacy. It is just as seemingly, on a logical perspective, analytical, strategic perspective, the things that I will not be engaging with, the egoic perception of things in the 3D. From that perspective, things I post will seem unimportant to those who don't get it, or those who don't resonate, or those who aren't receiving the energy because it's not meant for them. And so I really need to stay seated in my higher perspective when it comes to this channel, which is, like I said, in relevancy to those calls for the full moon week, or just that general time where when I am channeling something, because it's not from me, like, because it's coming from source and I am simply just a channel for that, I am tapped into that, and that way when I'm in that state, the thoughts don't get in the way usually, or if it does, it's for the purpose of resonation as a channeling being to another person who's channeling so we can relate, or it's to bring I am simply a mirror for reflecting what may be shadow parts of the person that is on the receiving end of that. When it comes to this first quarter aspect of things, the more just human being, the human having, the soul having a human body experience part of it, as opposed to the source and soul connection experience, that's less natural for me to be sharing, because I don't have a designated process for that. When I channel, I tap into that and I'm seated and I'm good to go. But with just being the day-to-day me, there isn't like a ritual or a process set, because that's just my being, without interruption of any kind. Not that tapping is interruption. There isn't a need for conscious intention to be drawn in, because I'm just living I'm just experiencing, right? And so how do I'm hearing with practice, how do I record the day today without interrupting the flow of it? I mean, and I trust that intuitive guidance there, that message of with practice. So really, the thing is, when I envision me doing the first quarter segments, we'll call them, I've also labeled it as the star segments, going by tarot card labelings for the different phases of the moon cycling for me, and the sun being during the full moon, because the sun is what reflects off the moon to cause the full glowing moon reflection. Anyway, so for the first of the 2 weeks, each moon month that I am seeing, as much as it is great to tap into better audio quality, to have nice enough lighting, to have these technological things, the 3D world-based things, I really just need to, through building momentum, through just showing up like I used to do with my prior podcast channel. Just show up. Just hit record and do whatever it is I'm doing, whatever it is that is in the state of flow. It is all about flow for me. And so it feels conflicting to say, because I don't want to, I refuse to add context to myself going forward because there is no way for me to encapsulate all contexts, and I don't live my life with a warning or context label for everything in the day to day, off camera, off record, right? And so I refuse to carry myself forward with that. So I will say this only now for this one recording, that though I will do my best as applicable to provide quality of technological experience, it serves for my highest and best and for the highest and best of others too, as part of that authenticity, as the core value of this truth underlying authenticity, radical truth. I will, in order for me to be seen sustainably and in alignment with that, and in that core vibration of healing, I will not be prioritizing technological quality of video and audio for the sake of being able to show up in the way that I need to, and the way that others need me to. That, and just that's what it needs to be. And that makes the egoic shadow parts highly uncomfortable. And I acknowledge that a large part of that, if not basically all of it, is a matter of unserving perfectionism based off of the media that I had seen for years and years, where even people, there's a lot of folks that post vlogs, blogs, whatever, just post in a way that it's tagged and presented in a way that gives the illusion of it being, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a category of photography. What is the category called? When it's just people doing what they do, and a photographer takes a photo while they're just doing what they do, like without being aware that they're having photos taken of them, in a consenting and approved of way. Letter C comes to mind. What is the word? Authentic. The word authentic. Yes, I know it's authentic. Things I would just look it up, but I have my phone doing the mic thing. I'm determined to find the word on my own. It's really escaped me. I know once I look it up, I'm going to be like, darn. Well, it'll come to me, I'm sure. So, the point being, I'm going to show up as myself, and that reflects the not just multifaceted but many facets as the gemstone of a being that I am. And so it's not that there's the channeler and the non-channeler of self. There's everything is a spectrum, just like with my identity, fluidity of gender, labels, and erasure of labels. There's candid's the word, candid photography, just like candid videography. There we go. An example of speech creating movement, right? So, that's all I've got to say about this right now. And I look forward to sharing myself, my vibrations, my energy, being seated further, deeper into my purpose, and being curious above all else, really. Well, unconditionally loving and curious. So yeah, thank you for listening, watching. I love you unconditionally, and I look forward to connecting with you